Alright, y'all, we need to talk about the debut album Lament from Blackened Hardcore Destructors Totaled, out this week via Profound Lore Records. I recommend Totaled to fans of Bastard Feast, Hellkeeper, Wake, and I could go on and on. Just over 2 years old, this band is really putting their best foot forward, and let me just say, I freaking love Blackened Hardcore. In the past 5 years or so, it's quickly become one of my favorite subgenres. Something about how all of that combined angst from both punk and black metal creates this exponentially greater singularity of disdain. But let me start this by saying that Totaled are 100% true to their name. As in, anyone who listens to this album will be completely totaled. Their sound is one of the most unholy unions of black metal and hardcore I've come across to date, and the results are utterly destructive. The album opens with the eerily quiet Deplete. Have you ever heard that expression, calm before the storm? This is it, right here. The understated nature of this intro only serves to further accentuate the apocalyptic devastation that's to come afterwards. You're about to get leveled by the sonic equivalent of a hurricane. Again, Lament is the perfect collision of these two genres. Even the cover art looks more like something that would grace like a Marduk album than a hardcore one. It's that black and white kind of minimalist aesthetic, and even their logo has two inverted crosses. Need I say more? It's one part raging D-beats and wailing guitars a la Converge, and 2 parts imposing atmosphere and kind of ensorceling emperor-esque tremolos. Take a track like Transience. Within just a few minutes, we get everything from very Ben Kohler-esque drumming to a very Uwada or Migla sounding black metal tremolo melody. And even an absolutely ripping guitar solo. Massive guitars, rumbling punk bass lines, and devastating drums all combine to erect this towering, reverb-soaked wall of sound that really dwarfs anything in its immediate vicinity. The only reprieve we get is the brief and appropriately titled acoustic interlude, Ominous, which really just, again, kind of like the intro, only reminds us just how loud and aggressive the rest of the album really is. This track kind of serves as the eye of the storm, and we know it won't last long. I don't know if anyone remembers that movie Twister. Great action movie. I really miss those days of kind of like, what was that? That was like late 90s, right? Mid 90s? I don't remember. But in any case, we had such a string of just like popcorn, goofy action movies that were just fun to watch and had, you know, good humor and good characters. And anyways, I'm going on a tangent here. Just thinking about this whole kind of storm metaphor in the eye of the storm, I can't help but think about scenes in that movie where things like briefly get calm and then like the cow comes flying by or whatever, and you know shit's about to go down again. That's what this little interlude is. And that ultimately brings us to the 7+ minute closer, Bereft, which is a just devastating conclusion to an already powerful experience. I've talked a lot about how violent this album is, but as the title Lament implies, there's also a lot of sorrow kind of laced throughout it all. Over the duration of the album, there are moments that make me feel incredibly sad, and Bereft takes all of that to its natural conclusion. It's this big, brooding, kind of sludgy track that was giving me a lot of flashbacks to the titular conclusion of Converge's Jane Doe. And if you're not familiar with that, then I don't even know what the heck we're doing here. Because that's a must-listen album. I don't even care if you don't like hardcore or mathcore or whatever. Like, that's a must-listen album. And that towering inferno of a closer is just a masterpiece. So take that as a big compliment that I would compare this closing track to that song. And ultimately, you've got to be made of wood if it doesn't conjure some buried sense of grief inside of you. As far as scoring goes, it's a 10 for enjoyability. I loved this album instantly, and only dig it more every time I listen to it. And so in that way, it's actually both a grower and a shower. I ended up giving it a 9 for musicianship. In the big scheme of all genres, it's probably more of an 8, but within the realm of black and hardcore, between the killer solos that pop up and the clever genre mixing and just the overall presentation and songwriting, I think it's fair to give these guys an A. And in terms of innovation, more of a 7. Nothing earth-shattering here, just kind of classic tropes done really well. So average those 3 scores out, and totaled have earned themselves an 8.7 or B+ overall. Again, if I'm rating just within the genre, it's an easy A. But if I'm going to be comparing albums from across the whole metal spectrum come July and December, I gotta consider the impact and the relevance and overall kind of difference and creativity and all those factors are important so that I can really separate the men from the boys when it comes to that time. Or the women from the girls. In any case, this ain't no Zeal and Ardor, so just leave it at that. So, in short, Lament is a sick fucking album that fans of hardcore and black metal alike should not miss in 2019. My favorite tracks are As Below, Eclipsed, and Transience. Lament is out March 29th via Profound Lore Records.